Hey everybody, and welcome back to Cooking with Glenn and Katie. Today we are going to be making a delicious fall dessert for you guys called our Pumpkin Delight. It is actually a twist on my granny's striped delight, which Dad and I have filmed in a previous recipe, and we'll be sure to link it at the end of the video. But this is just the perfect recipe for fall. It's a great sweet treat. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by making the crust of the Pumpkin Delight, which is actually 3 ingredients. It is 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, packed. Be sure to pack it when you get those 3 tablespoons. And then finally, 1 stick of almost melted butter, not entirely melted. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the graham cracker crumbs first and talk about those. So we are actually using these pre-crumbled graham cracker crumbs, but if you don't have these, you can just use regular graham crackers and crumble them up yourself, but you'll want to use no less than 1 sleeve of graham crackers. When I do it that way, what I like to do is put the whole graham crackers in a good Ziploc bag, and then you can crumble them up in your hands in the bag, but they'll stay in there, and then you can pour the bag out. But this is what the 2 cups looks like of the pre-crumbled crumbles. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to my large mixing bowl right here, and then I'll go ahead and add the packed brown sugar. And then finally, I will mix in with these guys the 1 stick of almost melted butter. As you can see, there are some parts that aren't melted, and that's exactly what you're looking for. So I'll pour all that in, scrape it all out, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use my spoon to crumble up the brown sugar and start mixing everything together. And in a minute, I'll show you the product, the finished product, that we're going to form into the bottom of our 9x13 baking dish, so that we can bake this a little bit and get ready to go ahead and keep moving forward with the recipe. Alright, I have gone ahead and mixed together the butter, brown sugar, and graham cracker crumbles. So I'm going to go ahead and put this mixture into my 9x13 inch pan. I'm going to go ahead and put all this in the bottom and lightly press it throughout. But I'm not going to spend too much time forming the bottom of the pan with this graham cracker crust, because I'm going to let this bake for 5 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After that 5 minutes, I'm going to take it out and stir it again before I form it for the second and final time. That's when I'll be more precise. So I'm just going to take my hands, I wash them so they're good to go, and I'm just going to pat this lightly down so that it'll bake evenly for those 5 minutes. That should be good enough for this first round of baking. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. Alrighty, so we're going to start that 5-minute timer now. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and take out the mixture, the graham cracker mixture. Let's see. Ooh, looks good. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and set it down, and I'm going to stir it up one more time and form it completely to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and get a spoon. And here we go. I'm just going to use my spoon to just stir it up, just to get a little bit of movement. That way, as it bakes again, the things that were on the bottom now have an opportunity to be on the top to get baked. So everything gets baked a little bit through. Okay, so now that I've stirred it around a little bit, I'm going to smooth it out and then pack it down with the bottom of my spoon. And in just a minute, I'll show you guys the finished product before I put it back into bake. As you can see, I have pressed down the graham cracker mixture so it's nice and solid on the bottom. I'm gonna put this back in the 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 2 minutes so it can get a little bit more golden before we start the rest of the recipe and get all this put together. Now let's go ahead and make the next layer of the pumpkin delight. I'm gonna go ahead and start by adding 1 8-ounce container of softened cream cheese to my KitchenAid. I don't have a hand mixer, but if you do have a hand mixer, that's great. You don't have to lug out this hardy machine. But for those of you who don't have hand mixers like I don't, go with your KitchenAid if you have one. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in the cream cheese using my spatula, put it in the bottom. I'm just going to start mixing this a little bit just to go ahead and get it, you know, smoothed out. There we go. So if you look down in here, you'll actually see that it's starting to get smooth. That's why it's really important to soften it before you put it in your KitchenAid or before you start using your hand mixer. Now to this, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla and continue to blend this. I'm going to go ahead and add the vanilla, but then I'm going to scrape down the sides a little bit as well. And then continue mixing in just a second. I'm almost done blending in the vanilla with the cream cheese, and then we'll move on to our next ingredient to add. Now I'm going to add 1½ cups of powdered sugar that I'm going to sift to the cream cheese and vanilla mixture. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend again. So I'm going to go ahead and pour all of my powdered sugar into the sifter and then get started. This sifter's so fun. You just look at it. Turn this little thingamajigger and takes all the clumps and smooths it out. So if you look down into the bowl, you'll see a nice, pretty smooth little bit of powdered sugar. If I look up at the top right here, you'll see there are larger chunks, and so that's what we are trying to get rid of through the sifting. It's like a jack-in-the-box that never pops. Well, I guess the powdered sugar is kind of like the pop. It's like a jack-in-the-box for adults. Pop goes the weasel, but it's not. No, okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my beater back on and blend these guys together. I'm going to let it mix for just another second or two, and now I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And I'm going to fold into this mixture an 8-ounce container of whipped topping. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in the whipped topping right here. Get all this delicious goodness out of here. Okay, and now I'm just going to use my spatula to fold everything in. I'm going to do this for a few minutes and then I will show you the finished product. Now I'm ready to go ahead and put this layer on the graham cracker crust. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here like so. I'll smooth it out in just a minute. I want to go ahead and get it all out. Now I'm just going to go ahead and start smoothing it across the bottom of the crust. Now we're on to the 3rd layer, and then of course we have a 4th little layer too, which is going to be great. But this layer is going to be a layer that's all about the pumpkin. So we're going to be using 1 can of pureed pumpkin, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, which is what everybody's talking about this time of year. Pumpkin spice this and pumpkin spice that. So we can't not have the pumpkin pie spice in this recipe. So again, it's 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, followed by 2 3.4 ounce packs of instant vanilla pudding. But if you don't have or can't find the 3.4 ounce you can get this larger size, which is 5.1 ounces. Here is the pumpkin pie puree that I'm going to go ahead and add to my mixing bowl. Ploop. To that, I'm going to go ahead and add in the pumpkin pie spice. So now we're adding in the instant vanilla pudding, pack 1 of 2. Got to make sure to get all that in there. There we go. All right, now that I've got my whisk utensil thingamajigger on here, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started, but slowly again. But now that it's getting a little blended, I'm gonna move it up higher. What I want to let you know though is if you don't have a KitchenAid, just whisk with a hand whisker, and that works just the same. But since I had my KitchenAid out, that's why I wanted to go ahead and whisk it this way. I tried this too, just like I tried the last layer, and it is excellent. So this is a really thick layer. So I'm actually gonna take my spatula and put dollops around the dessert so that it'll be easier to spread. So I'm just gonna take a little bit here and there, flop it around, and then really be focused with my spreading. But I've got to tell you guys, this is not really a recipe where you need to be a perfectionist, because we're going to be adding on a layer of whipped topping next. And so if this blends a little bit with the cream cheese layer, it's okay. Alrighty guys, now it's on to the final layer, which is another 8-ounce container of whipped topping. Like I did with the last one, I let this one thaw, so it is ready to be spread. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on different sections, that way I can spread it out pretty easy. Oh yes, look at how perfectly that spreads across. I'm gonna start spreading it, and then I'll spread it out to the edges in just a second. I'm gonna spread this, and then I will come back to you guys to show you the finished product. Now that I've spread the whipped topping, I'm just going to lightly sprinkle on some pumpkin pie spice. It's just gonna add a last final touch. Oh my goodness, this is smelling great, looking great. I can't wait to dive into this. We're gonna serve it right away, but if you aren't serving it immediately, go ahead and just pop it in your refrigerator so that it can stay nice and cool until whenever you're ready to serve it. And look at this beautiful finished product. I can't wait to go ahead and plate it up so Dad and I can show you the layers, as well as let you know how delicious it tastes.
It's beautiful. And we'll see what it tastes like. Here we go. I can dig through all the layers. There we go. It tastes kind of like Mom's Strike Delight, but also is a kind of a twist on a pumpkin pie. Very good, sweet, the different layers. I love pumpkin spice, and it's going to be a great dessert to share with the family. It'll be a great one for anybody to make this time of year. And I am so happy that you joined us today on Cooking with Glenn and Katie, and watching Katie cook this for us. I'd love for you to give us a thumbs up if you like it. I'd like for you to try it, maybe make a comment below, and share it with your friends. And be sure to subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week. See ya. That is an adaptation of your Strike Delight that you made us.
You added a few things that I didn't have, so I'll see how it tastes. Yummy, yummy, yummy. It's very, very good. And that pumpkin that's in, the egg pumpkin in the middle of it, this is delicious. You can serve this to anybody. It's very good.